simultaneous interpretation into English and Portuguese. It is a great honor for the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA, at its headquarters in the hemisphere located in San Jose, Costa Rica, to welcome you either in person or virtually at this home of agriculture of the Americas, on occasion of bestowing the title of IICA Goodwill Ambassador in matters of sustainable agriculture development to Mr. Hipólito Mejía Domínguez, former president of the Dominican Republic. For this reason, we are honored in greeting His Excellency Luis Abinader, President of the Dominican Republic, who is honoring us to take part through a recorded message. His Excellency Christian Guillemet, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs for Multilateral Affairs of Costa Rica. His Excellency Mr. Hipólito Mejía Domínguez, His Excellency former President of the Dominican Republic. His Excellency Limber Cruz, Minister of Agriculture of the Dominican Republic. Her Excellency Mayor Lynn Cordero, Ambassador of the Dominican Republic to Costa Rica. The Honorable Senator of the United States of Mexico, Ms. Beatriz Paredes, Goodwill Ambassador of IICA in matters of sustainable development and social equity. The Honorable Carolina Mejía, Mayor of the City of Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic. The Honorable Manuel Otero, Director General of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA. Mr. Martín Peñero, Director General Emeritus of IICA. We would also like to greet all those IICA authorities, Mr. Lloyd Day, Assistant Deputy Director, Mr. Otero, Head of Cabinet, the family of the former President Mejía, and other institutional authorities and guests here present, and those that are joining us through the different social media of IICA. Now we will hear the words of welcome of the Honorable Dr. Manuel Otero, Director General of IICA.
Good morning, everyone. This is a day of great celebration because right in the midst of COVID, this room has always been empty. It's been cold, and I can't tell you how exciting it is for me to see people here and more human warmth, and especially under these circumstances where we will be offering this very well-deserved award of IICA Goodwill Ambassador. So I want to welcome all of you here. Particularly, I would like to greet Mr. Luis Abinader, President of the Dominican Republic. Also to Minister Limber Cruz, who is not only the Minister of Agriculture of the Dominican Republic, but also sits as President of IICA's highest governing body, which is the Inter-American Board of Agriculture. Also with us is the Deputy Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of Costa Rica, a real friend of IICA, who always works closely with us. Christian, thank you for being here. Also our dear friend, the Goodwill Ambassador Beatriz Paredes, who's a Goodwill Ambassador for IICA and is a senator in her country, Mexico. The Mayor of Santo Domingo, Carolina Mejía, particular greetings to you, and please greet your mother. I was delighted to be able to meet her on a trip to the Dominican Republic, and also your brother and your cousin. The Ambassador Mayor Lynn Cordero, who is the Dominican ambassador to Costa Rica and also the ambassador of the Dominican Republic to Peru, Alejandro Arias. Also our friend Cinia Chavez. We have some very critical issues to discuss with her so we can build a stronger relationship with ICAFE and all of our friends here at ICA and in the Dominican Republic, Manuel Messina, and so many others, and all the other authorities who are following this event today. I welcome all of you here. I would like particularly to recognize Hipólito Mejía as a statesman, a visionary, a man who has taught us that reason and emotion can easily go hand in hand, because Hipólito Mejía, my friend and former president, is a man who is passionate and at the same time a man who is wise. He is also a politician in our part of the world who has a full understanding of the value of knowledge, of production, the hard work of men and women in rural areas. He's a genuine man, and he likes to be seen that way. I had the pleasure of meeting him in the early 1990s under the administration of Martín Piñero here at ICA, who is also with us today. At that time, I was director of planning and evaluation, so it was an honor for me to meet him then and to work with the then international consultant, Hipólito Mejía, who helped us a great deal in evaluating some of our national offices. The tie continued under the administration of Carlos Aquino, also a purebred Dominican who left a real impact from his administration. He was the one who worked so hard to decentralize the institution and to modernize the management here at the institute. Together, working with them, we came to understand fully the important and fundamental role of the Dominican Republic, partly as a link to the Caribbean, a Caribbean nation, but also his spirit, sense, and desire, and his feeling as a Central American. Together with him, we came to visit Gurabo, where he was born, a land of people who are courageous, generous, even in times of want. And I have to say, we saw that he traveled around by bicycle and by donkey. It didn't matter if he got dirty and muddy. As long as he got there, he got there. And this was back in school days. And we came to know the Loyola Polytechnical School that he set up, a wonderful institution. I've seen a picture of it. It's a beautiful building. It's located in the province of San Cristobal, which is renowned for its Jesuit discipline and for tirelessly promoting human development through knowledge. President Mejía there took up the fundamental tools he would need to become later on a young Minister of Agriculture at the age of only 37, making him the man who did the most to equip the agricultural sector of the Dominican Republic with the technology it would need to promote true rural development. His dedication to his profession as an agronomist, his DNA as a man of the countryside, came along with him as he served as president, who set high priority on food security for his country, along with development and the creation of opportunities in rural areas and the protection and conservation of the environment. I have a story I want to tell you, because it demonstrates the generous spirit and sense of friendship that President Hipólito always had. This happened in 2001, 20 years ago. You, Mr. President, went to Argentina, my country, on an official visit to visit President Fernando Alarrua, and you came to see me at the National Agricultural Technology Institute, where I served as vice president. And I remember that gesture because you had many commitments that day. You had so much to do. And nevertheless, you said, I want to go see my friend Manuel. I'm still grateful for it because these are the feelings that are such a quality of your personality. I'm deeply happy to be able to award the title of Goodwill Volunteer of ICA, Ambassador of ICA on President Mejía. I know we need to put agriculture back into the center of development, of public policies, as we consider the need to improve human resources in agriculture and invest more and more in agricultural research, which is very much hand in hand with the vision we have here at IICA. This demonstrates the tireless support of President Mejia to strengthening the agricultural research system in his country and his desire to improve farmer access to better technology and financing. President Mejia, I want you to know that you are joining a very outstanding group of IICA Goodwill Ambassadors who, as you have been doing already, share concerns and commitments to achieve sustainable, equitable development. In that role, they have all taken on the challenge of joining their strength to causes that seek to improve public awareness and work for development through projects involving food security, gender issues, youth issues, bioeconomy, family farming, responsible production. All of these are issues at the top of IICA's working agenda. President, in this sense, I am convinced that your very full development as a statesman, a public man who defends, a public figure who defends agriculture with the farmers in the agricultural sector as a strategic activity, the promotal of solutions to structural problems affecting our societies, placing agriculture always at the center. All of this will be critical for the success of the work we have undertaken on the way toward the United Nations World Summit on Food Systems, which will be preceded by the September 1st and 2nd meeting of our Inter-American Board of Agriculture, where the Minister of Agriculture of the Dominican Republic, who will be presiding over the board, will be essential. IICA is deeply involved in a fight for our governments for more representation in our governments, our institutions, our farmers at that forum, at the summit. Defending the idea that agriculture has been and will continue to be the essential link in the world's agri-food system. Without agricultural production, there will be no raw material to be processed into food. In short, our idea is to bring a consensus-based position of ideas from our hemisphere as we move toward that summit. Our sector is critical for food security and for global sustainability. Therefore, it is also critical for economic and social sustainability and, consequently, for social peace. IICA hopes to be the voice of agriculture of the Americas, and it is working for our agricultural sector to be an inseparable part of the solution to the many problems that we face in our countries. I'm convinced that these messages will be more will be stronger and more powerful in the voice and example of a personage such as President Hipólito Mejía, and let me say even now, Mr. Ambassador, Mr. IICA Goodwill Ambassador. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who is here, and particularly you, Hipólito. Thank you for being here with us on this day, which is so important in IICA's history. Thank you. Thank you, Director General. We now invite you to join us in a video sent by Mr. Luis Abinader, President of the Dominican Republic. Please proceed. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity I've been given to commend Mr. Hipólito Mejía for having received this position as IICA Goodwill Ambassador for the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture for issues of agricultural development. I fully support and affectionately support this appointment. Yes, it's an appointment, but it's also a recognition that we all do for a man who has demonstrated a long, deep-running lifetime working for his country and for agriculture. His list of accomplishments is so long that we could never name all of his achievements, but I will give you just a few examples in order to give a context to this event. Father, as the Dominican population knows him as Papa. And as Papa, he has led this country and shared his life with us. 24 years ago, at the age of 24, he became the head of the Tobacco Institute. And he led that sector, creating institutions such as the Southern Center for Agricultural Development, the most outstanding agricultural institution in the entire Caribbean. As president, he did not stop supporting the country and working for the country. He promoted legislation and promoted agriculture, creating the Executive Commission for Reform of the Agricultural Sector in order to protect and increase strategies for productivity and competitiveness. These actions, which were a clear part of his presidency, made it possible to lessen rural poverty and bring about improvements in the food supply. These actions that improved not only the structures of the sector, but were also positive for millions of people and had an impact that will never end on the life of our country. But his hard working ethic did not stop when he ceased to be president. He continued to work tirelessly for the sector and for the benefit of the nation where he was born. And so today, I want to recognize him before all of you. With this certificate as IICA Goodwill Ambassador, we are clearly demonstrating his importance and the values of dedication, hard work, and love for this sector, which means everything to him. Mr. President, Mr. Hipólito Mejía, we are proud of your accomplishments. All the people of the Dominican Republic know that we have you with us to defend this most important interest of the agricultural sector and to improve the well-being of this country and now the region. It is in this sector to which you have dedicated your life and which during the pandemic has shown to be a key sector for our country, where we have found your stamp on resilience and quality that they have developed. Thank you, Hipólito, for making this vulnerable sector a critical factor in our competitiveness, which is fair and resilient. Today, we recognize this achievement, and we hope that this new position that you are now holding will be useful for inspiring many others to follow your example and continue fighting to make this a better world. That they would love the fields and they would love agriculture and they would protect it as you have shown us to do. Unquestionably, you will take to every corner of this region what you did here in our country, in your country. Thank you very much.
Thank you also to the President, Luis Abinader, for his excellent speech. We must also greet the ambassadors of the Dominican Republic in Guatemala, Julio Cordero, the ambassador of the Dominican Republic to Colombia, Ms. Sara Paulino, the ambassador of the Dominican Republic to Argentina, Ms. Nora Capello, as well as the ambassadors of the Dominican Republic to Nicaragua and Colombia. We will now be honored by the words of the Honorable Carolina Mejia, Mayor of the city of Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic. Thank you. Good morning, or good afternoon. On this hybrid event, in person and virtual, I greet all our friends, ambassadors, all the members of this dear institution, and we thank you for the honor of allowing us to share some brief words. Jean-Jacques Rousseau used to say that a good father is worth 100 teachers. Today, here, on behalf of our family, we would like to express how pleased and honored and happy and grateful we are all for this distinction that the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture gives today to our dear father. On behalf of his wife, my mother, Doña Rosa, my siblings, my brother Felipe, who is here with us, his sister Chavela, and all our family, grandchildren, nephews, nieces, and other relatives, and of the entire country, as President Abinader has just said. Thank you so very much. To describe him is to highlight that he is a man of family, honest, responsible, hardworking, loyal, brave, transparent. And from him, we have learned to do and to be a family, to work with passion, with transparency, with efficiency. We have learned to serve in the public and in the private sectors, always based on our principles and values, with love, with lack of interest. And he has urged us and he has encouraged us to study, to learn, to be democratic, not selfish, to think of others, to value each and every person without any discrimination whatsoever, to give them a worthy treatment, to respect and care for the environment. He has been a man that has dedicated himself to family, to agriculture, and to politics. The politics that we promote, that of recovering it as a service, as a public service, as a utility, the one that is developed to benefit and transform in positive terms the life of people. He was director of the Tobacco Institute. He was Secretary of Agriculture. He was President of the Republic. His experience, his qualities, his service, and his contributions bring him to you to receive this great distinction. Thank you so very much to each and every one of you, Don Manuel, IICA, for this beautiful recognition and for making of our dear father a Goodwill Ambassador. Thank you all very much on behalf of our family and of our country.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your words. I would like to make a quick correction. The ambassador is the Argentine ambassador to the Dominican Republic. We will now hear from Mr. Limber Cruz, Minister of Agriculture of the Dominican Republic. Good morning. I would like to send a special greetings to our President, Luis Abinader, Mr. Ex-President of the Republic, Hipólito Mejía, Mr. Manuel Otero, Director General of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, Mr. Cristian Guillerme, Madam Mayor of the City of Santo Domingo, ambassadors, members of the institution, and other people who are with us this morning. Good morning, everyone. I would like to start my words by acknowledging the work that the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA, has been undertaking since the time it was first created in 1942 and its establishment in the Dominican Republic in 1968. I also want to recognize the efforts made by the Director General of IICA, Dr. Manuel Otero, for having developed a modern day IICA, which is closer to the countries and expeditious in its response to national needs, despite the fact that we are living through difficult times marked by the terrible pandemic of COVID-19. I would also like to express appreciation for the work of Clara Solis in the IICA office in the Dominican Republic. The fact of the matter is that from my very first day at the head of the Ministry of Agriculture. I have received help from her in the form of unconditional support. Thank you, Clara. I would now like to express my gratitude, speaking on behalf of the entire agricultural sector of our country, for the award that IICA is bestowing on this great Dominican, Mr. Hipólito Mejía, who at the age of 25 led the Tobacco Bureau and afterwards served as Secretary of State for Agriculture and finally became president from 2000 to 2004. A man from whom we have always received the best advice, who has preached by example, who has demonstrated the principles and ethical values that he learned, that we all learn at home from our families and also at school. He has demonstrated that it is possible to do politics in a way that is decent, effective, and of benefit to the country. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, I would like to take a few moments to give an outline of the developments agenda for change and development led by our president in the field of agriculture and rural development. President Luis Abinader chose agriculture as one of the cornerstones for streamlining and reviving our economy. So we are working toward that purpose, and as a result, we decided to select 8 focal points that we will use in order to revitalize the sector. First of all, the first focal point is to produce. If we don't have production, we do not have food. We need to prepare the land, bring good seed, and good cuttings, using the best practices and the best varieties. Number 2, water. Without water, there can be no production. We know that the government set up a water cabinet proposing medium and long-term solutions with dams, canals, and so forth. So we decided to look for short-term solutions consistent with the current drought we were experiencing, starting off by digging wells, setting up reservoirs, and introducing hoses for micro spraying and micro irrigation. Number 3, financing. In the midst of this pandemic and as a result of the decline of tourism, at that point, one of the main sources of foreign exchange and employment, which in turn is a sector that receives products from the field, which of course was very much affected. Given all this, we as a government needed to find solutions and take them into the pocketbooks of our producers. So we proposed to the new administration that in addition to financing at normal credit rate, interest rates, that we also allocate 5 billion pesos at 0 interest. This was one of the most widely applauded measures in the entire country, and it benefited thousands of small and medium-scale producers. Number 4, rural roads. The rural area in the Dominican Republic for many years now has been crying out for better facilities to transport products to the markets in good condition. So the government's program included the preparation, rehabilitation, and completion of thousands of kilometers of rural roadways per year. This is not the job just of the Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Public Works took on the responsibility of other thousands of kilometers as well. Number 5, training. We firmly believe in training and application through technical cooperation. We have a broad virtual and in-person program in the regional offices of the ministry. Twice a week, we provide training using a digital platform that connects technologists with farmers and the ministry. Number 6, research. We have developed an aggressive plan for developing laboratories, both for veterinary and plant purposes, injecting fresh resources and expanding their capabilities. Also, in the area of animal production, we have emphasized the production of embryos and artificial insemination to improve our genetic stock for both beef and dairy. 7, marketing. The government has focused marketing of agricultural products in 2 different ways: external markets and domestic markets, emphasizing agro exports, but without neglecting domestic marketing to hotels, markets, grocery stores, trade in general, and also street sales. So in this way, we have our platform is the Institute for Price Negotiation in Santo Domingo, and the idea is to set up 2 additional offices, one in the northern part of the country and another in the eastern region. 8, food safety. It is important to produce healthy, wholesome foods, especially right now as we are going through this pandemic, which has shown us so clearly that there is a close link between good health and good eating, healthy eating. So this is why we believe that food safety is more than just a need, because it protects the properties of our foods. This mission is something that we had expressed already in the past. It works hand in hand with discipline, hard work, and the dedication that characterize us, and so that after only 8 months, we have been able to bring in record crops of beans, rice, garden vegetables, onions, and others. We have clear, well-defined plans using products that our country has traditionally exported: coffee, cocoa, tobacco, and sugar. Out of these 4, we are really only exporting 2 at this point: cocoa and tobacco. Nevertheless, in a combined program with our technical people and the technical people from this wonderful country, Costa Rica, over the medium term and long term, we will become self-sufficient in coffee, and we will resume our exports as we did in the glory years, along with other products. I would not like to close my remarks without making reference to the support to the fruit growing sector, especially highly exportable fruits, where we will be providing full technical and financial support so that we continue producing and exporting products such as mango, banana, avocado, pineapple, papayas, pitaya, and others. In short, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving in the right direction. That is moving decisively toward food sovereignty and food security in our country, improving profits for our farmers and fetching better prices. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. We would like to invite Mr. Martín Piñero, Director General Emeritus of IICA, to address us some words. His Excellency, Mr. Minister of Agriculture of the Dominican Republic, His Excellency, the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of Costa Rica, Director General of IICA, Mr. Manuel Otero, all authorities that are with us at such an important event. And above all, my dear friend, Hipólito Mejía. Good afternoon, everyone, to everyone that is with us here and to all the IICA offices. It is a great pleasure for me, no doubt, to see and to hear to my dear friend Hipólito Mejía after so many years. It is a wonderful recognition. Can you hear me? Yes, sir. Is the audio good? Yes? Thank you, thank you. Yes, sir, we can hear you very well. Thank you. So it is a pleasure to see this recognition that he is giving to a dear friend and to an outstanding Latin American citizen. I would like to congratulate the Director General of IICA for this very appropriate decision. I would like to thank him for also inviting me to take part in this event. Obviously, I am not going to summarize the extraordinary professional and personal track record of Hipólito. This has already been done by previous speakers. And these are all well known by all of us anyway. He was Minister of Agriculture, Vice President of the Republic, President of the Dominican Republic, and many other things, both in the public sector as well as in the private sector. Very few people have had such a broad and fruitful track record as Hipólito Mejía. But additionally, these positions were performed with permanent commitment to the development of his country and of the region. Hipólito has been and continues to be the defender, champion of development and an example of how to articulate and to link the actions in the public sector and the private sector. This has been a lesson for each and every one of us and for those that may come after us. But I would like to focus my few words on a more personal level that reflects my personal appreciation towards Hipólito. We met back in 1978 at a visit I made in Costa Rica when he was Minister of Agriculture. A very difficult time for Latin America, very particularly for my own country, Argentina. Back then, Eduardo Trigo, whom many of you know, and I, from IICA, were heading a project on technological innovation. We were invited to go visit the Dominican Republic. And there, we held many meetings, obviously with the Minister of Agriculture and with other very respected Dominicans as Luis Crowns and many others who were at the time working in the agriculture area and that were extremely interested in technical advancements. The minister impressed us because of his willingness, his determination, his knowledge, and his great generosity. Right after that visit, and from many more thereafter, we started and held a strong relationship at a personal and professional level with him. A relationship, a labor relationship, and particularly a friendship that has prevailed over time. This brings many happy memories of the Dominican Republic and of all Dominicans particularly. Hipólito, it is a great pleasure and honor for me to see you here at IICA today and be part of this special recognition you are receiving. I believe you certainly deserve it. And at the same time, you will be a new representative of IICA, of all the work at IICA and the work to modernize the agricultural sector throughout the continent. Welcome very warmly to the IICA family. And I hope I can see you physically when the pandemic finally ends. A warm embrace. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin Pinheiro, for these words. The next speaker will come from the Mexican ambassador, Beatriz Paredes, who is a senator and an IICA Goodwill Ambassador on sustainable development and social equity. And she will speak on behalf of the group of Goodwill Ambassadors of this institute. Madam Paredes, you have the floor.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you.
¿Se me escucha bien?
Can you hear me? Yes, perfectly. Good, thank you.
Señor doctor Manuel Otero,
Dr. Manuel Otero,
General del-
Director General of IICA,
distinguidas autoridades,
distinguished authorities of the Dominican Republic who are present for on this occasion, colleagues, staff of IICA at headquarters and in the different national offices all around Latin America and the Caribbean, ambassadors, Deputy Minister of Costa Rica, friends, ladies and gentlemen. For me, it is an honor to be able to speak on behalf of the Goodwill Ambassadors to warmly welcome Mr. agronomist Hipólito Mejía Domínguez, who has been invited by Dr. Otero to join this group of Goodwill Ambassadors as part of this strategy for expanding the commitment to agriculture that IICA is behind. A Dominican, an agricultural professionist, a politician, a man of the Caribbean and of Latin America, a president of the Dominican Republic. It would not be easy to express more clearly than what Carolina Mejía, mayor of the city of Santo Domingo, said when she spoke about her father's respect and admiration for of this political man in the country. Or it would also be hard to outspeak the respectful words of admiration expressed by Dr. Pinedo as he talked about Hipólito Mejía. What I can say is that for me, as a former student of Juan Bosch, as a colleague of the ideological line that Mr. Hipólito held, I can tell you, I know, that he is a good man, a man who is able to think and do, which not many people can, because to take fantasy and imagination and draw from that ideals and the ability to get things done is not common. It's exceptional, often, and especially a man with such a deep sense of humor. I had the privilege many years ago of meeting Hipólito Mejía. I was very struck by him. He teased me as a young leader that he met out on the lines as we thought about the future of the Caribbean and of Latin America, his country. In addition to his personal accomplishments and his professional clout, as well as his political skill, I think it's particularly important to remember, to consider this invitation that Dr. Otero has extended, because when we see Mr. Mejía, we incorporate IICA's views and its view for it gives greater status to these thoughts about the Caribbean region and the islands in our region. Unquestionably, in the Caribbean represents one of the planet's most threatened regions by climate change. Its natural vulnerability, its conditions as islands in the midst of the Atlantic Ocean, the hurricanes that are a natural part of its ecosystem. In all of this, climate change poses a dramatic threat to the Caribbean, and the enormous efforts that the countries of the Caribbean have made to improve their production by transforming difficult agricultural conditions because of the rainfall conditions, the storms, the salinity, and the shortage of fresh water. And to all of that, we now add climate change. As the Minister of Agriculture already said, and as I have seen with my own eyes, the efforts that have been made by the Dominican Republic to guarantee a food supply from its agricultural sector and also plantations, marketable plantation agriculture has been striking. At some point, at one point in that country, it was inevitable that there would be an agronomist as president. And this background has been reflected in a desire for better planning in agriculture, which is so essential for the countries of the Caribbean because it is so difficult to manage these ecosystems wisely. Unquestionably, technological transformation in the countries of the Caribbean has found one of the most important opportunities for optimizing the possibilities of agriculture. I am convinced that IICA has a lot to gain, a lot from adding Mr. Hipólito Mejía to the team of Goodwill Ambassadors, because I am certain that this strategy by the Director General of IICA will multiply the diversity of voices speaking together about our commitment to agriculture, sustainable development, and nutrition in our region. Additionally, it warms our hearts when we remember that even in the merengue dance, even the merengue dance from the Dominican Republic considers agriculture. So I want to close by making reference to a song called We Hope. We hope that coffee will rain down on the fields. Again, it's a well-known song that's called We Hope that coffee will rain down on the fields. And we hope that coffee will rain down for the benefit of all the coffee producers. And we hope that corn will rain down and wheat will rain down. And I know that for Hipólito Mejía, we will work together for Latin America and for the Caribbean. Welcome. Welcome, Hipólito. I'm so glad you're joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words. I am honored to offer the floor now to His Excellency, Mr. Cristian Guillermet, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs for Multilateral Affairs of Costa Rica. His Excellency, Mr. Luis Abinader, President of the Dominican Republic, who is present virtually, Mr. Hipólito Mejía Domínguez, former President of the Dominican Republic, Honorable Senator Beatriz Paredes, Goodwill Ambassador of IICA in matters of sustainable development and social equity, Mr. Limber Cruz, Minister of Agriculture of the Dominican Republic, Madam Carolina Mejía, Mayor of the City of Santo Domingo, Mr. Martín Piñero, Director General Emeritus of IICA, Don Manuel Otero, dear friend, Director General of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, distinguished representatives of the 34 member countries of IICA, and dear friends all. First of all, I am very honored to be here with you today. It is very difficult to use the floor to pay tribute to a person as is Don Hipólito, President and Ambassador as of today. And after such warm words, full of thorough knowledge about his work and his career, and also of him as a person, I am truly honored. Allow me to take advantage to apologize on behalf of our Minister, Mr. Rodolfo Solano, who for his agenda was unable to come, and I am very happy because now I can replace him. So I am pleased to greet you all on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and of the people of Costa Rica, particularly today when we are paying a special and deserved tribute to Mr. Hipólito Mejía Domínguez, whom today is being bestowed the title of IICA Goodwill Ambassador. Mr. President, you were that many times, many years ago, but now it is official. So this is a wonderful occasion today to pay tribute to a distinguished professional and political career of a friend of Costa Rica. And in here, I see the opportunity to highlight in this track record some common points with the policies that also support the development of my own country, and which, together with the sister country of the Dominican Republic, we have been moving forward. We highlight the valuable contribution of the agriculture sector, particularly in matters of sustainable development, technological innovation in agriculture, as well as its commitment to the development of rural areas and human development in the region. At times, when the matter of sustainable economic recovery promotes the agenda of the countries of our region, it is relevant to recognize a person that, with the looking towards the future, work decisively on these matters for much way before we had the pandemic. Mr. President, we are also pleased to celebrate your work in favor of the environment, conservation, and natural resources, the green vocation of which we share. I believe that a good farmer is a farmer that respects and coexists with nature. I believe that Costa Rica awards special importance to the protection and defense of the environment, as you very well know. That includes sustainable agriculture development and progress in green technologies and renewable energies, focusing on conservation and nature-focused. We also recognize your defense of gender equality and the creation of opportunities for youth through education in areas that we see the policies that both our countries share. Dear friends, the seed of fruit between Costa Rica and the Dominican Republic planted way at the beginning of our relationship back in 1896 has yielded great fruit thanks to the contributions of people like President Mejía. We see the economic recovery of the region, the strengthening of health infrastructure, initiatives in science as regional aeronautics, and the promotion of artificial intelligence, as well as food security and tourism, as we saw in the recent consultations made among the authorities of both countries. The road ahead is broad, rich thematics, and we will certainly develop it together as sister nations. In ending, Mr. President, I would like to recall the words of Manuel Otero during the appointment of Ms. Beatriz Paredes that we just heard as Goodwill Ambassador of IICA last year, where he highlighted, and if you allow me, Don Manuel, I will quote, "Goodwill ambassadors share concerns and commitments to achieve sustainable and equitable development. And they also face the challenge of joining causes that seek to raise public awareness," end quote. We are fully identified with this vision, and we believe it is imperative to highlight the interest of the collectiveness expressed through strategies that ensure the integral development and full aspirations. Don Hipólito, you are the living evidence of that maxim. Congratulations, Mr. President. And once again, I say, for so long now, you have already been an ambassador, and I am so very glad to see I am present today at this act. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Vice Minister. We would like this way to thank all the outstanding members of the head table that are with us in person and all those that have participated through virtual means. Mr. Manuel Otero, Director General of IICA, will proceed to bestow the title of IICA Goodwill Ambassador on Mr. Hipólito Mejía Domínguez, former President of the Dominican Republic. The certificate reads as follows. Certificate reads as follows. Hipólito Mejía Domínguez, Goodwill Ambassador of IICA in matters of sustainable agricultural development, in acknowledgement of his contributions to the agricultural development and to agribusiness in Latin America and the Caribbean. Signed by Manuel Otero, Director General, San Jose, Costa Rica, April 2021.
Muchas gracias. Para cerrar este
Thank
solemne
you. In ending this, we will hear now the words of the Honorable Hipólito Mejía Domínguez, former President of the Dominican Republic.
Mr. President. Mr. Director General Manuel Otero, old friend. Luis, in the Dominican Republic, thank you for your kind words. My daughter, Carolina, Mayor of the capital city, the most beautiful city of the region. Limber Cruz, practically my nephew, Minister of Agriculture. Martin Piñeiro, what a pleasure it is for me to see you even at a distance. You brought me to IICA once, and I got to know this institution from the inside. And the important thing is, we're even younger than we were before, aren't we? My friend Beatriz, it appears that the ambassadors from IICA, the position and the relationship seems to make everybody younger. Mr. Cristian Guillerme, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. Friends, colleagues, including Felipe, my son, my nephews, and other Dominicans who are with us today. And Deputy Minister Ortiz, members of the Dominican government who are with us today in some countries, ambassadors, other authorities. I would also like to extend my greetings to an old friend, Costa Rican, Atico, Rolando Araya. You taught me to love Don Pepe, the Costa Rican president. Friends, as I begin my brief remarks, I would like first to thank all of you for being here at this significant event, and also those who are following online. The Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture is, in this ceremony, is announcing publicly its decision to appoint me as Goodwill Ambassador on the subject of sustainable agricultural development. Unquestionably, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture can proudly demonstrate major initiatives it has taken in our region that have earned it the recognition of the peoples of the Americas, not only because of its contributions to the development of agriculture, food security, and sustainability for our natural resources, but also because of its dedication to ongoing improvement of the living conditions for the people who live in our rural areas and for the progress of our people. The efforts that have been made to promote a new model of agriculture, including fisheries and forestry, worldwide, regionally, and locally, serves a mission not only to guarantee the dietary needs of today's generations and those of tomorrow, while conserving the environment, but also require the responsibility to ensure that farmers can profit from their work as we work toward greater social and economic equality, which continues to be an unmet need in most of our countries. The development of efficient, profitable, sustainable agriculture clearly it has been and will continue to be the driving motivation of my work. This is why, as I humbly accept the award that is being given to me today, I fully understand the significance of this award. And I decisively and energetically shoulder the challenges that it entails, because I'm convinced that this is the right thing to do. Agriculture has not only been the most important professional activity of my life, I can also say with assurance that my passion for the land and for conserving our natural resources have marked the way that has made my very life meaningful. Today, as a demonstration of that, after having achieved some of the highest positions in Dominican politics, I continue to be filled with enthusiasm and excitement, devoting most of my time, the best of my time, to developing new techniques and better varieties of fruit trees, implementation of novel technologies for agricultural production, and also seeking out better living conditions for our people in the field. Therefore, this distinction that I am receiving is coming from the hands of IICA, an institution that is recognized as a useful and clear mechanism for international cooperation for the progress of our hemisphere. And the fact that it comes from IICA, to me, is an especially meaningful recognition for my work in agriculture. Maybe not so deserved, but I accept it humbly. This occasion, therefore, gives us an opportunity to share a few thoughts with all of you about the state of agriculture in our region and prospects as we look toward the short, medium, and long term. And with your indulgence, I will take a few moments to do exactly that. I would like to begin by outlining the role of agriculture in Latin America under current conditions. Food security, unquestionably, is the primary mission of agriculture. That is to say, every one of our countries is constrained to dedicate all of the resources that has available domestically to produce most of the foodstuffs that the people need. This fundamental objective is closely associated with the need to protect the health of our people, not only because our farms need to produce enough food to meet the demands of a growing population, but also because the quality of agricultural produce has a direct, very direct impact on human health. As a sign of this relationship between agriculture and health, we see the growing awareness that we need to increase the degree of safety of our food supplies, the food that our people eat, in order to lessen the risks inherent in the abusive use of substances that are dangerous to human health. Agriculture in the region is called upon to contribute more and more to our growing exports in order to generate foreign exchange, which will provide us with the financial resources we need for other development activity. These exports, we know this very well, bring greater income when they go toward developing countries that have hard currency. Even so, we also need to work to strengthen agricultural exports within the region. This is a good idea, first of all, because the clear fact that there are countries with broad territory and abundant natural resources for producing food products in other countries And there are other countries that have less land and less diversity and that are not able to produce in the same way. An example of this is the economic link between tourism in the Greater Caribbean and the demand for foodstuffs for our visitors. This subregion has about 45 million people. In 2019, before the COVID-19 pandemic, it received more than 30 million tourists, 45 million inhabitants and 30 million tourists. This demonstrates the great possibility of strengthening the circular economy in our entire region, adding value chains by means of food exchange. On the farms of the world, Latin America and the Caribbean have an invaluable natural wealth. It made up of 16% of the world's agricultural land, 33% of land that is arable but not being used for agriculture, 23% of the forest surface, 50% of biodiversity, 22% of fresh water, and 31% of the 35 million cubic kilometers of fresh water on the planet. These resources mean that our region is a critical source for food security and environmental sustainability in the world. At the same time, according to recent studies, in the year 2020, the rural population in the 20 countries of Latin America was approximately 121 million people. That is to say, nearly 19% of the total population. For the English-speaking Caribbean, the rural population made up about 3.8 million, that is 32% of the entire population. These figures are resounding, in my view, because it emphasizes the weight of agriculture in the region and also the fundamental role of this economic sector in its contribution to reducing poverty, especially rural poverty. In fact, just a glance at the region tells us that the rural world is where poverty is the most discouraging. In this universe, we particularly are struck by the precarious nature of access to many basic services, to high-quality education, to decent employment, and especially to opportunities for improving the quality of their lives. Because of these high levels of rural poverty, this is why one of the great dramas of our region continues to exist. That is to say, rural flight into the cities, caused by the desperate search for a better life in the cities by those who have been denied access to a decent life in our rural regions. It is also rural poverty combined with urban poverty today is forcing tens of thousands of our brothers and sisters to seek a better life by crossing the borders, going to lands that seem more, very often, risking their own lives. A tangible contribution that agriculture is called upon to make in order to reduce poverty is to strengthen those production activities that generate value chains, such as agroindustry, rural tourism, and environmental tourism. From this comprehensive perspective, we draw the conclusion that our rural world contains potential that far exceeds mere food production. That is to say, the rural world in our region is an excellent opportunity, an excellent place to create opportunities that will have an impact on. This leads us to the conclusion
Finalmente, el desafío que tenemos por delante consiste en formular y poner en práctica aquellas políticas públicas que articulen alrededor de la agricultura cadena de valor tan diversas y productivas como las que seamos capaces. Señoras y señores, lo dicho anteriormente nos conduce a reconocer una verdad indiscutible. La innovación tecnológica es un imperativo para la agricultura. Reitero, la innovación tecnológica.
Technological innovation is an imperative for agriculture in this region. Indeed, in most of our countries, the agricultural frontier is exhausted. Therefore, it is absolutely essential to boost productivity on every unit of land used for food production by introducing technological packages based on research and innovation. These technology packets, nevertheless, need to be adapted to the real conditions in each country, in each region, and in each local area so that they can be applied successfully. This adaptation I'm talking about is closely associated with technology transfer from the research centers to the users, be they agronomy professionals or farmers themselves. Therefore, training of all of these human resources needs to be an absolutely top priority for the sector. Let me say it again. Training of these human resources needs to become an absolutely top priority for the sector. These are the people, once they are trained, these are the trained people who will be at the head of the technology needs for agricultural production, such as genetic improvement, integrated pest management, use of earth-friendly insecticides, efficient irrigation systems, the use of high-quality seeds, and the proper land use. Naturally, human training for agriculture also needs to include those who are leading efforts toward post-harvest management, storage, transportation, and of course, marketing. A cross-cutting issue for our public policies to strengthen agriculture needs to involve the proper use and conservation of our natural resources, especially water and soil. In order to make sure that water continues to be available, we need to protect our watersheds. We need to increase forest coverage. We need to counteract soil erosion. All of these, quite literally, are the way for us to plant water in our valleys and mountains. We are also under obligation to protect wildlife and protect our rivers, our beaches, our coral reefs, and our coastal systems. When we talk about the importance of the environment and natural resources for agriculture, we are under obligation to consider the impact of climate change and global warming on the agricultural productivity of our region. It has been shown that global warming has a direct impact on rainfall systems and the severity of many pests. This, friends, is a strategically important issue for everyone. It is sad to see that agricultural productivity has declined significantly because of climate change. And I want to say that again. It is sad to see that agricultural productivity has declined significantly as a consequence of climate change. In fact, a recent study by academics from Cornell University in the United States found that in the past 60 years, the world's agricultural productivity has declined by 21%. as a consequence of climate change. This loss represents a total loss of 7 years. The study tells us that the decline in agricultural productivity is more pronounced in warm regions, warm climates. In the case of Latin America and the Caribbean, this loss reached 26%. Unquestionably, these figures represent a clear warning for all of us. This has happened at the same time as an increase in the use of agricultural technology. Oddly enough, the natural conclusion that we need to draw is that the technology packages we apply in our agriculture should have less of a negative impact, the least possible negative impact on our natural resources. In other words, without environmental protection, we simply cannot achieve sustainable agriculture.
Friends all, after having seen the reality and the potential of agriculture, as conclusion, I would like to share a few proposals I believe could be of use for agriculture in the rural world in our area. Firstly, I propose that as a priority, we invest more and better in research. In our times, the update of knowledge has become a necessary condition in order to become competitive and efficient. That new knowledge should come from research centers. Secondly, we must work to train capable specialists to face the multiple challenges of our agriculture. As we have seen, those challenges are not limited to technology, but instead to social content, social commitment. Thirdly, we must integrate information communication and communication technologies, ICTs, so well known to us in all processes that converge in agriculture. Among the benefits of the ICTs would be our ability to be connected and updated with the information generated within the region and throughout the world. Fourthly, I propose to assign the right importance to diversity and heterogeneity that characterizes our agriculture, both regarding the diverse climate niches as well as the size of farmers. Fifthly, I believe it is appropriate to develop public policies that enable family agriculture and the raising of small animals, both because of their contribution to self-consumption as well as to their link to the trade of agricultural commodities. An essential component in this practice is the extraordinary contribution of rural women in Latin America and the Caribbean. An essential component, I repeat, of this practice is the extraordinary contribution of rural women in Latin America and the Caribbean. Sixth, I propose to protect agricultural practices that are of indigenous communities and Afro-descendant communities because they have proven over so many centuries that they have been fundamental both for food production as well as for the prevention of the environment and the preservation of cultural and ethnic diversity of its members. In seventh place, I propose to create mechanisms of coordination for subsidies applied to agriculture in this region, adjusted to the reality of each country. This initiative is inseparable to the adoption of an agriculture insurance because agriculture, by definition, is an activity extremely vulnerable to natural disasters and market instability. In eighth place, I consider timely to propitiate fisheries projects in aquifers, in dams and lakes, and in adjacent oceans to increase the supply of animal protein and increase revenue. Ninth, we must enter into new negotiation processes to reach interregional agreements that allow trade to flow more efficiently to exchange our agricultural products. This will allow us to contribute to improve the income of producers in the region, help overcome rural poverty, and achieve the Sustainable Development Goals agreed, obviously, by member nations of the United Nations. And lastly, I propose that the decisions on particular aspects of agriculture in each one of our countries be part of coherent public policies reached by consensus between the public sector and the private sector. Public-private partnerships are proving to be the right answer to the challenges that agriculture in Latin America and the Caribbean face in the context of the global economy. My dear friends, all of Latin America and the Caribbean, by speaking to you today about the present and future of agriculture in the region, I have tried to convey a message that fosters solidarity and cooperation among our countries. Only through a joint effort will we be able to face our common challenges and make the best use possible of our enormous human and natural resources available to us. We must look not only at the present reality, but also at the horizon of a future that now we have to build, to pass on to future generations and give them a region of Latin America and Caribbean where justice, equity, and opportunities prevail. Once again, thank you all very much, all my dear friends of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, for this distinction granted to me today. I will always, always remember this day with a special gratitude and joy. Thank you very much.
Queremos también
We would also, at this time, like to thank the tremendous number of persons that via Facebook and YouTube are sending you congratulations, Mr. Mejia. Congratulations. In ending, we will watch a video, the life of Mr. Hipólito Mejía Domínguez. Go ahead with the video, please.
Bueno, y finalmente le damos las gracias.
We would like to lastly thank the senior authorities and special guests
Quienes nos han honrado
who have honored us with their participation in bestowing this well-deserved title. We wish you a very good day. Thank you all very much. Goodbye.